My name is Pamela Jones, and welcome to Indigenous Astrology. Indigenous Astrology is about realigning with the planet Earth, and acknowledging and realigning with its frequency and its consciousness, and promoting peace and harmony among all the Earth's inhabitants, as well as the cosmos. In the first segment, we talked about the first 7 planets. These were planets that we are able to see with our eyes without the use of a telescope. The next planets are planets that are beyond in distance from our visible eyes. And although they've been always around, we are just coming into an awareness of them. The first one up is the planet Uranus, or Uranus. And Uranus is a planet that represents originality, uniqueness, differentness. It can be eccentricity, but it's deeply, deeply intuitive, and it's actually an energy associated with the future. So Uranus is a ruler of the sign Aquarius, and Aquarius is a very, very creative sign, a sign known to be a humanitarian, and it's an energy that is associated with technology as well as astrology. So it's a energy that's associated with being of progress, of newness, of different, of the now. That is what Uranus represents, the time of now. Now, the next planet past Uranus is Neptune. Neptune is a planet associated with the water, with the ocean. And the ocean is one of the last frontiers of our planet. There is so much we do not know about the ocean. The ocean covers 70% of our planet. And Neptune represents the sense of the mystical, of mystery, of idealism, of illusion and disillusion and disappointment. It's a planet that represents very strong, very highly sensitive energy. And so it is like musicians that hear music that no one else hears, but they hear it. It's a planet that can seem even torturous because of its high sensitivity. Many artists, poets, musicians, writers have a very prominent Neptune because they sense so much and see so much, and their sensitivity is almost feels out of this world. It's hard for them to even feel connected or stay connected to the day-to-day lives of the average human being because of the seriousness or the depressiveness, the depression of how people actually live can really, for the average person who has a very strong Neptune, it's hard for them to cope. So Neptune is also associated with escapist tendencies, which might manifest in drinking or drugs or living in fantasies, living in a fantasy because it's easier to cope with than reality. Another planet that we are dealing with is the planet Pluto. And Pluto is a planet that deals with control. And sometimes it can seem like an obsession, the control. Pluto is a planet that deals with the instincts and the underworld. And a lot of times Pluto is an energy that you have to be very strong in order to handle. A a lot of people with Pluto in their charts, they're very much associated with dealing with detective work or dealing with crime, particularly horrific crime or crime that is like graft or greed or corruption. And so you have to be very strong and very ethical to handle the kind of energy and information associated with Pluto. Pluto is also a planet that's associated with the underworld, with the lifestyle of people that don't come up too much during the daytime. They stay out at night. So it can be a very fast life. But Pluto is also a planet that's associated with rejuvenation and recycling. So for many people, Pluto, they find a lot of treasure in other people's trash. And so it can be a planet of great wealth if you know what the wealth is. And it's an energy that often can be considered very lonely. It's associated with loners, with misfits, with people that have maybe keep very long or different hours, so they can feel out of sorts or on the edges of society. So that's just a thumbprint of all the planets. There are many other correlations and connections with these planets. I also want to point out to you that we have another planet that's not even considered a planet, but there is a field of rocks between Mars and Jupiter that we call the asteroid belt. We believe that this was a planet that might have encountered a meteor and was broken up into hundreds of thousands of pieces, some as big as the moon. But nevertheless, they are between Mars and Jupiter, and astronomers have named thousands of these pieces. And when we look at them and interpret them from an astrological point of view, often whatever quality this asteroid was named, whether it was named Clinton or whether it was named Pittsburgh or whether it was named Osiris, whatever element that it was named after bears something to the planet that, let's say, a major planet in a person's chart. If they are in conjunction or close to it, there is something about that planet, that asteroid, that colors the planet. So it's a very important and interesting thing, and it's fascinating. And we'll stop right here because there are other basic elements that I'm going to talk to you about in future segments. We still have to go into the house system. We still have to talk about the signs and their aspects. So I thank you for staying in tune and listening, and we'll be back.